Hello Seekers, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you to all my new subscribers. It's lovely to see the subscribers adding up, and I'm excited to reach 500 one of these days, hopefully. The more people that subscribe, the quicker I'll get to 500 subscribers, and then I can start a community page, which will be very exciting. So thank you to those of you who have subscribed, and to those of you who are taking the time and energy to listen to this reading. Today we're going to look at how can I reclaim my personal power. All of these crystals, I have 4 piles: earth, air, fire and water. The Merkaba quartz representing earth, the feather representing air, the flame for fire and the water for water. Each of these 4 crystals represent or bring in an energy, a healing energy of personal empowerment. For earth, it's the Ammolite. For air, it is this magnificent Lapis Lazuli. For fire, what else could we have but a fire opal? And for water, in the deep blue of the Cape Oceans, we have Chrysocolla. So the cards, you can look to the next section in the timestamp below. I share the shuffling process, and here are the piles. We've got some tarot cards and some oracle cards for each pile, and all that remains is for you to choose your pile: earth with the Ammolite, air with the lapis, fire opal with fire, and Chrysocolla with water. And while you're making up your mind about what pile you'll be listening to, remember that this is a timeless reading. You will find it when you are meant to find it. And remember too that it is a general reading, and as you listen, you'll take from it what resonates with you, and you will release and let go that which doesn't resonate with you. If you feel that the reading is not for you, feel free to stop and move to one of the other piles, or to look for a different reading. So choose your pile: earth with Ammolite, air with Lapis Lazuli, fire with the fire opal, and water with Chrysocolla. Pick your pile. We'll start with the shuffling process. We'll start with the tarot cards, 5 tarot cards for each pile: earth, air, fire and water. And then we will choose the 4 oracle cards: archetype, oracle wisdom, the wisdom of the hidden realms, and the animal guide, the wild unknown animal archetype that will be with us during this reading. So let us start with the tarot. We are using the Robin Wood Tarot today, and we're going to start with choosing the cards for the earth pile. Kindly give me the 5 tarot cards for the earth pile regarding how Earth Pile Collective can reclaim their power. 5 cards, please. There's 1. Oh, that looks like all 5 cards. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please give me the 5 tarot cards on how to reclaim their power for the Air Pile Collective. 5 cards, please. There's 1, and there's another, and there's another. Thank you very much. Another 2 cards for the Air Pile, please. Another 2 cards on for the Air Pile Collective. There's 1 and 2. That's 5. For the Fire Pile, please. 5 cards on how to reclaim the personal power for the Fire Pile Collective. 5 cards, please. Here's 1. And there's another one. Another 3 cards, please, for the firepower. And we'll take that one. And we'll take that one. And that one peeking out over there. Thank you very much. And for the water pile collective, please give me 5 cards on how to reclaim their personal power. 5 tarot cards to bring in an understanding of how the water pile collective can bring in their... Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Another 2 cards, please, for the fire pile, the water pile, sorry. Thank you very much. Water pile, 5 cards. Now we will draw first the oracle card, the 7 energies oracle card. Please give me an oracle card wisdom for the earth pile in how to reclaim their personal power. Thank you. Please give me for the air pile a single card on how to reclaim their power. There you are. For the fire pile, please give me a single card of oracle wisdom on how fire pile can reclaim their wisdom. And there is the water pile sticking out as well. Thank you very much. Now the archetype, please give me, oh, this is a difficult pack, so big. Please give me a card for the earth pile archetype on how to reclaim their power. Thank you. Please give me an archetype card for the air pile on how to reclaim their power. Thank you very much. Please give me an archetype card for the fire pile collective on how to reclaim their power. Thank you. And finally, please give me an archetype card on how to reclaim their power for the water pile. Thank you very much. And we would now like to please get a spirit animal that is with us to guide us and help us reclaim our personal power. Firstly, for the earth pile, please. Thank you very much. And that is one for the air pile. Thank you very much. Please give us an animal, spirit guide, a spirit totem for the fire pile to help them reclaim their personal power. Thank you very much. And for the water pile, thank you very much. And finally, please reveal the wisdom from the ancient realms for, oh, that's jumping out, for the earth pile. Oh, and there's for the air pile. Please give us the, I think the guards are saying get on with this reading already, taking too long shuffling. Anyway, there is one for the fire pile. And finally, guards, please give us wisdom from the ancient realms for the water pile. And there it is. Thank you very much. Earth, air, fire, and water. I will see you in your readings in the timestamps. Click on the timestamps below. Welcome to your reading, Earth Pile, with the Ammolite, which we'll just move over here, and the macabre quartz, indicating and representing Earth. Here are the cards that were drawn for you in the shuffling process. So let's open them up and see what they offer. So we've got 5 tarot cards. Card 1 represents what is the source of my feeling powerless. And you got the 7 of Swords. Card 2, what am I seeing in others that I can't see in myself? And you got the King of Wands. The 3rd card, what part of my personal power can I reclaim? And you have the beautiful Pregnant Empress. And card 4, what feelings will I experience as I try to reclaim my power? You have the Lovers. That's interesting. You've got 2 major arcana cards here in good positions. So that's quite a big deal. And the final card, what would I gain by reclaiming my power, is the 7 of Cups. So before we put these together, let's have a look at the oracle cards. So the oracle of the 7 energies is a grand symphony. What archetype are you playing out? The addict. What spirit animal is with you as you start to reclaim your power? The tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night. And what wisdom from the ancient realms will come to you? And that is the Spirit Whisperer. So, Earth Power with the Ammolite. Let us have a look and put these cards together. Okay, so, right. You may find, this is a serious card, the 7 of Swords. It's not a playful joke. This guy is very serious about stealing these 7 swords. So it suggests that perhaps the source of your feeling powerlessness, the source of your powerlessness, the source of your feeling powerless has either been a betrayal, somebody stole something of yours, and I'm not talking about material stuff, although it could have been. For example, you could have been robbed. In South Africa, where I live, that is a big issue. And of course, once you've experienced a burglary or a criminal act against you, you do feel that your power has been taken away. So this card could be representing an actual criminal act against you, or it could be something like a betrayal. Perhaps if somebody, a work colleague or a friend or a family member, stole an idea or took credit or stole a lover, leaving you with a sense of feeling powerless because there was nothing that you could do, and obviously a deep sense of betrayal. There may be a feeling that your ideals and hopes will never be met. There is the alternative interpretation of this card, which could indicate that because you have been feeling powerless, because you have been feeling that your hopes and dreams are never going to be met, that you may be trying to use methods that don't sit well with you, that are born out of a sense of frustration. But I kind of get the feeling that this is more what has made you feel powerless, and what is exacerbating this feeling of not being able to have your hopes and dreams come true is I feel that something was done to you. So either a physical robbery, a physical stealing of something, or an emotional or intellectual betrayal of some sort. And you will find that if you can heal that hurt, if you can somehow overcome that unpleasant experience, you will be on the path to reclaiming your power. And the second card is, what do you see in others that you feel you don't have or that you can't see in yourself? And this is a very powerful card. It's a strong card. It's a joyous card. It's full of bright, action-filled colors. It's the King of Wands. It is somebody who is in complete mastery of himself. And remember, this is just an energy. So when I talk about him or herself, we all have male and female energies within us. So part of your sense of powerlessness comes from that you think others have this ability to be a person of action. You feel that others are incredibly individualistic and passionate and fiery. This is also an energy that can be a little bit aggressive, and it may also have a sense of entitlement. So you do need to ask yourself, am I feeling powerless because I am expecting things to come for me without paying the price? We all know that saying, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. So you may be having hopes and dreams that are not coming true, that are not being fulfilled, because you kind of expect perhaps somebody else to do them. But this is in the position of what you see in others. So I think it is more a case of that perhaps there's this sense of feeling powerlessness, the stealing of the sense of your own power has left you feeling that you don't have that fiery, passionate, individualistic energy that you see in others. And yet, if you look deeper, if you scratch beneath the surface, if you start healing the wounds from this theft of your power, you may surprise yourself and find that you do indeed have the King of Wands energy within you, and that you are quite capable of radiating your own light, of radiating your own energy and fiery passion for whatever it is that you want to move towards. And then we come to the position of what part of my personal power can I reclaim? And what a beautiful card to have in this position. This is the Empress. This is a Major Arcana card. It is a card of feeling safe. It's a card of abundance. It's a card of success. It's also a card of growth. You can see she's pregnant. It's a fecund card. It is just full of this, it's bursting with energy. It's bursting with abundance. There's baskets full of food. She has a weaving, she can weave. She's got all the astrological symbols that she's weaving into her cloth. There's love, there's Venus. She's got the royal blue cloth around her. She's in rich robes. This is what you can reclaim. You can reclaim your belief that the universe is abundant and has enough for all of us. It doesn't have enough for our greed. It brings me to this card, but we'll talk about that later. But there is definitely enough in the universe for our need. And this card suggests that if you learn to let go this betrayal, this destruction of your feeling of being a powerful person, a person of sovereignty, and you realize stop looking at without and seeing, projecting almost the energy of the King of Wands that you have within yourself, you will be able to reclaim your sense of feeling and believing that the universe is an abundant universe, the universe is a generous universe, and it is a wonderful place where you can fulfill your dreams and we'll get to that now. This card is what feelings will you experience on this journey towards reclaiming your power? What will you feel as you walk this path? And the Lover's card, another major arcana card. It is a card of balance. It's a card of union. It's a card of feeling love, self-love, self-respect. It's regaining the ability to trust others. And it's also, more importantly, regaining the ability to trust yourself. Because perhaps this betrayal, whatever this betrayal was, you perhaps feel that maybe you were culpable, that you trusted somebody, that, you made a mistake. But, we have to trust others. And, that saying, fool me once, shame on you. And you know what? You can't let somebody steal your trust in other people, one experience or one person or one event. And this card here suggests that as you journey towards reclaiming your sense of personal power, you will regain that sense of trusting others, of trusting yourself and your own intuition and your own ability to know who you can trust and who you can love. And that is such an important role. The important thing to look here is how balanced these two people are. The female energy is using her right hand, which is the masculine side, to hold up the moon, which is the full moon, which is the symbol of the ripeness of the feminine energy. The male figure is holding up his left hand, which is the feminine side, and he's holding up the sun, which of course is the full radiant masculine energy. And that suggests that along this journey towards reclaiming your power, you will come into a balance between an inner balance that will bring you harmony and a sense of being in the Garden of Eden. And the final card is, what would you gain from taking this journey towards reclaiming your power? And the most important thing that you would regain is the ability to dream again, the ability to believe in your dreams again. And there will be, because of this feeling of balance, because of this feeling of an abundant universe, you will be able to master those dreams. You will be able to go, decide which dream is most important, and you will start step by step, one by one, going through the dreams. You will be able to, because you've regained the trust in yourself, because you've regained the ability to love and respect yourself again, and you forgive yourself for whatever mistakes you made in allowing this person into your life so that he or she could steal whatever was stolen from you, and most importantly, stealing the sense of your own power. Once you've regained your self-love and your self-respect and your trust in the universe as a good, kind, abundant place, you will be able to follow your dreams again, and you will believe in the beauty of your dreams. And despite any obstacles, despite any hiccups, you will continue until you have managed to conquer your dreams. And what a beautiful thing to gain from this journey towards reclaiming your personal power. So let's have a look at the oracle cards and see what additional advice they offer you. So the oracle of the 7 energies is about a grand symphony, and that, I think, represents the end of division. You may find that when this betrayal took place, you felt very isolated, you felt very alone, you felt almost cut off from a community. And this card suggests that, yes, you can be a fully integrated, balanced, powerful individual, but a violin is enriched by a full orchestra. And it is only with a full orchestra that you can sing a grand symphony. And this card suggests that once we realize that our individual actions have consequences not only for ourselves, but for our whole community, we can then find that balance between being an individual as well as being part of a community that we trust and that we love and feel safe and secure in. Because remember, the Empress is an energy of feeling very safe and very secure, but an Empress is the head of a community. So the Oracle here is suggesting that, yes, find that inner union, find that balance, find the self-love. But remember that to fulfill our dreams, we can't do it on our own. We need to be part of an orchestra so that we can turn our dreams from a simple tune into a grand symphony. The archetype, this is a bit of a tough archetype that we're dealing with here. The addict, and this suggests a lack of balance, which of course brings us back to the Lover's card, which is all about finding balance. Because when we play out the addict archetype, we give our power away. We give our power away to something outside ourselves, whether it is a person, whether it is an object, like, if we're addicted to gambling, we give it away to the roulette table. If we're addicted to drugs, we give our power to the drug. If we're addicted to a person, we give our power away to that person. And perhaps here the suggestion is that we have given our power away to whoever betrayed us. And we need to reclaim that power by giving up the archetype, by moving away from the archetype of the addict, and instead of compromising our inner integrity by giving that incident or that person too much power over us, we reclaim our power and we step out of the addict archetype, and we confront that perhaps we are addicted to the sense of betrayal. And once we move away from that, we can then focus all our energies on following our dreams. And what is here? What totem animal is here to help us break free from this addiction to the sense of betrayal, from this addiction to giving our power away to somebody outside ourselves, which makes us feel like a victim of betrayal, when in actual fact we are sovereign beings who can and should utilize our own. We have the capacity for action and fire and passion and the ability to make things happen in the way that we want. So the spirit animal that has come to help us move away from the addict archetype is the magnificent tiger. And the tiger it brings with it a passionate, strong, fiery type of energy, very similar to the King of Wands energy. And this, remember, is what we see in others, but we cannot recognize that we have it in ourselves as well. And the tiger, of course, gains its power, and it walks with stealth through the night. It is an extremely powerful animal. It can be very dangerous, but it has nothing to fear except its own power. And perhaps that is the question that tiger is asking you, is, are you afraid of your own power? And therefore, it is easier to be addicted to the sense of betrayal than to recognize that what we see in others, we actually have that sense of power within ourselves. And the final card is the wisdom from the ancient realms, and this is the spirit whisperer who brings with her divine guidance. She brings with her a sense of higher knowing. She heralds the miraculous, the inspired, sort of inspired creative ideas. And she brings with her, most importantly, an inner knowing of when we are going astray or not. So perhaps the Spirit Whisperer has shown up in your reading, Earth Power, to let you know that on some level, you do know that it is time to move forward and reclaim your personal power. Let go that feeling of victimhood. Let go that betrayal. Recognize that you have the fire and the passion within you, that the universe is an abundant and loving and safe and secure place, that you can find peace and harmony through an inner balance, and therefore you will be able to follow your dreams. And that, Earth Power, is your reading. It is sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings and so much love, and I look forward to having you join us in the next reading. Remember that I will put a link to the description of your crystal in the description box below, and hopefully that will add another layer to your reading. Blessings and love. Welcome to your reading, Opal. We've chosen the cards in the shuffling process. Just giving them a cleanse now. There's your beautiful lapis and the feather. Let us have a look at what your tarot cards say. So the first card is, what is the source of my feeling of powerlessness? The world. Okay, we'll think about that. The second card is, what am I seeing in others that I do not see in myself? Interesting cards. We'll think about how they work together. Let's just get all the cards out. Card 3. What part of my personal power can I reclaim? The beautiful Page of Cups with her artist's palette. The fourth card is, what feelings will I experience as I walk this journey of reclaiming my power? Another page, another new beginning. The Page of Wands. And the final tarot card is, what would I gain by reclaiming my power? The Emperor. Interesting. Your cards start with a major arcana, and it's usually the major arcana that ends. It's the last major arcana card. And your journey ends with the Emperor, which is another major arcana card. Let's have a look at your oracle cards. The Oracle of the Seven Energies. What is the message that we have for the air pile? And that is Earth Magic. Interesting. Air, of course, is the intellect. And it's often difficult to ground our ideas. So let's just think about that. Of course, there's always a lot of magic that happens underneath the earth when you plant the seed of a new idea. What archetype are we playing out as we struggle to reclaim our power? The Mystic. So that is the archetype that you're going to be working with on your journey towards reclaiming your power. And what spirit animal is here to help us, to guide us, to give us strength the cute little otter. And the wisdom from the ancient realms as the final message on your journey is the sacred union. So let us have a look at how these cards work together. So, all right, Opal. Interestingly, I think what this card is saying, the World card, this is a card of infinite possibilities, of the limitlessness of the world. It's a card of infinite possibilities. And of course, it deals with both the world that is seen and the world that is unseen. And it's in the position of what is the source of you feeling powerless. And perhaps in a way, there's a bit of overwhelm here. That there are so many possibilities surrounding you. I mean, it's not just of this world, it's the other world with all those stars in that card behind the woman dancing. And of course, she's wrapped in a cloak of pure white, a cloth of pure white, which again is all colors, it's everything, and it is almost in the figure of 8, which is the symbol of infinity. So this and the little red ribbons in the wreath are also in the sign of infinity. So I think perhaps where you're feeling powerless is that, and it's the air power, which is all about the intellect and ideas. So perhaps there are just too many ideas. There's just too many possibilities. There is so much that your power is lost in all these opportunities, in all these ideas, in all these possibilities that just are endless. And I mean, we do live in a world that offers us so much. And perhaps that there is something in you that is just so overwhelmed by all of this that you feel completely powerless and unable to anchor or manifest any one of those ideas or any one of those possibilities. And it leaves you feeling helpless and powerless and feeling that you're never going to get anywhere. So if the source of your sense of powerlessness is because there are too many opportunities, you're overwhelmed by everything that is happening in your life or that is out there on offer, too many choices, too much information, too much of everything. What do we see when we see in others who we think are successful? What do we see in them that we don't see in ourselves? And yet remember that we often see in others that which we have inside ourselves, but which we can't recognize. And you have the 9 of Wands. And this is a card of no matter how hectic life is, you can see that this wounded guy has been in a battle. He's got a bloody bandage around his head, but he's still standing strong. He's by no means exhausted. He's almost surrounded by a storm, or there's a storm coming, and yet he stands strong and upright and able to face. He's got the rune of protection there. He knows that he is protected and he has help. And he has many, many talents. Each of the ones have a different knob, like a diamond, topaz, emerald, sapphire. So many gifts and talents that he can withstand the storm with. And that, when you look at somebody who is achieving a lot, who is doing a lot, who is making choices, who's making decisions and moving forward, perhaps you see in them the ability to endure, to survive the battering of the storms of life. You'll see a determination to succeed against all odds. And yet what you are not recognizing is that you yourself have this capacity within you. You just need to develop the belief and to allow yourself to start living through these opportunities And that, I think, is what is represented in the next card, because this card is, what part of myself can I reclaim? What part of my personal power can I reclaim? And this is a new beginning. This page is a page of cups. Cups is about emotions. It's about reclaiming. She looks on, that there's a fish coming out of a cup. A flying fish is something imaginative, it's creative, it's a kind of innocence. She's not immersed in the turbulent waters of her emotions. She's standing firm on the side. She's a young girl. She perhaps hasn't yet experienced turbulence, but that is what you need to reclaim, to start feeling powerful again, to start feeling that you have a sense of inner power that can take you to where you want to go. You need to reclaim the innocence of the creative dreaming. It's almost like a birth of your creative talents. They will need to be developed. This is a young card. It's the page. She's a young girl who hasn't yet immersed herself in the full experience of life. But if you don't start somewhere, you're never going to start. You're just going to remain, instead of being able to dance, you're just going to be overwhelmed. And you have to start somewhere. So start with dreaming, innocent dreams, and looking at finding just one thing that you can believe in, that you want to give birth to, and step by step start balancing that experience with, start developing it. But of course, you can't develop a talent unless you believe that you have it. So find something within yourself, allow yourself to dream an impossible dream, and slowly start to develop it. And, the pages always herald new beginnings, and here we immediately followed 2 pages next to each other. So this one is, what part of my personal power can I reclaim? And it's this card, the cups, is saying, allow yourself to dream. Let your emotions rule your head. Be innocent in your dreams and believe that anything is possible. And this card is, what feelings will I experience as I start this journey towards reclaiming my power? And this young person is the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands indicates that you will be feeling, if you allow yourself not to be overwhelmed, if you recognize that you have endurance, that you have the determination, no matter how many storms batter you, allow yourself to dream, to open up yourself to an infinite number of possibilities, no matter how impossible they seem. You will feel within you the beginnings of an excitement. You will perhaps have some nervous excitement. There will be a bit of restlessness. You may even experience a little bit of self-doubt and fear, because if you have a look, this page is standing very near the edge of a cliff, but he's confident. He stands quite solid and firm, and he's holding that wand out and letting it shine in all directions. And perhaps that is something that needs to be considered, that as you open yourself up to the creative dreaming, the ideas, and remember this is the air pile, and this is all about the intellect, and it's all about ideas that are coming down. This Page of Wands suggests that once you open yourself up and you stop being afraid of being overwhelmed by all the infinite possibilities, and you actually open yourself up to them, they will come so fast and so furious and so full of energy that you may need to anchor them and to ground them firmly. You see those ones, this wand is not anchored in the ground, but these wands of endurance, this fellow enduring the storms, he's got his wands extremely well anchored in the ground behind him. And so while you will experience all these feelings of excitement, of a restless energy, you can't wait to begin once you open yourself up to these new ideas, you will also perhaps feel a little bit of self-doubt, and there's nothing wrong with that, because that is all part of the process. Because once you allow yourself, you open yourself up, you feel the doubt, you overcome the challenge, and you will then develop the confidence and the strength that you need to endure whatever storms come your way. And the final tarot card is, what would you gain by reclaiming your personal power? And this is a beautiful card to end the reading with, because it is the Emperor. It's a major arcana card. It is a card about manifesting success. It's a card of stability. It's a card of worldly achievement. It's the ability to solve issues and to make decisions with confidence. So you may, in the beginning, experience the restless energy of the Page of Wands, but as you endure the obstacles, as you open yourself up to the infinite possibilities rather than the overwhelming possibilities, ultimately you have the capacity within you to sit in the seat of your personal power like an emperor, solid, stable, confident without being arrogant, surrounded by the success that you have turned from dreams, from imaginative, creative dreams. And when I say creative, I'm not necessarily talking about painting, although she does carry the artist's palette, but it's kind of in the sense of painting your own picture. So you could want to become a doctor, or you could want to become a lawyer. The idea here is that you open yourself up to what seems impossible, and ultimately by going through the journey of reclaiming your power, you have the capacity to become the emperor, to become the epitome of a solid, stable success in whatever field you choose to open your creative intellect to. So let us have a look at the messages now from the oracles. This is the Oracle of the Seven Energies. I think it is a beautiful card that ties in extremely well with your tarot cards and the meaning of your tarot cards, because of course, earth magic, it's a very grounded energy, and this is what we were talking about here. These ideas, once you open yourself up and you stop, instead of being overwhelmed by infinite possibilities, you are actually excited by them, but there may be a little bit of self-doubt because they're becoming fast and furious, and you will need to manifest them. And this is what the Earth Magic card is all about. It's about grounding the ideas, planting the seed, and trusting that the seeds you plant in the fields of your dream will be nourished. There will be this magic that, sorry, excuse me. There is this magic that will germinate the seed, and slowly, slowly the dreams will grow and reach the surface. Excuse me, I'm going to have a drink of water. Then the archetype that will assist you on this journey, this is the archetype that you will be tapping into, or that you are tapping into, and it is the archetype of the mystic. And this, I think, is about developing a relationship with the divine. It's about devoting time to explore a faith that achieves a union between the two worlds. Because remember, part of the overwhelm, part of the source of what is stripping you of your power, part of what makes you feel powerless, is the complete and utter infiniteness of both, not only the known world, but also the unknown world. And the unknown world, of course, is the world of the spirit. And this card is saying, take the time on this journey to develop a relationship between the two worlds. So take the time to devote, I won't say devote yourself totally, but explore a faith that can help you achieve an understanding of how the unseen, the unknown worlds and the known worlds interact together and can actually empower you rather than disempower you. And what is the spirit animal that has come along to help us on this journey towards reclaiming our power? It is none other than the joyous, carefree, childlike otter, which reminds me very much of the Page of Cups. Cups, of course, are emotions. Emotions are represented by water. And this young girl is a very innocent energy. And of course, if you've ever watched otters play, and I've had the privilege of that, and you can just Google it, and otters immerse themselves with an almost childlike joy. And the key thing there is that on this journey towards reclaiming your power, you need to learn to play, because creativity is actually play. And remember, the air power is all about the intellect. So we need to embrace a creative intellect, which instead of being goal-orientated or results-orientated or logic-orientated, just lets itself play and go with the flow and dives deep into the waters and comes up and just has fun exploring and playing, and not making an action for an expected goal, just playing. And I mean, children and otters play. They don't worry about making mistakes. If they make a mistake, there is no mistake in play. And that, I think, is the key thing the key message that Otter is coming to bring us. Allow yourself, allow your soul, allow your intellect to just play. And don't worry about making mistakes, and then you won't be so overwhelmed with the possibilities of being wrong and all the possibilities of what is out there and available to you. So just have fun while you are on this journey towards reclaiming your power. And the final message is the message from the ancient realms, and this is the message of the sacred union. It brings a message with it of forging a partnership, of forging a sacred relationship with the divine. It ties in very closely with the mystic, which is all about learning to trust that unknown world, learning to balance the infinite possibilities of the known world with the infinite possibilities of the unknown world. And Spirit is here. This card reminds you that Spirit, although unseen, will always be there helping you co-create the reality that you want to live in this 3D material world. And that, Opal, is your reading sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings and so much love, and I look forward to having you join us in the next reading. Hello, Fire Pal, and welcome to your reading. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to smudge it because while I was busy with the air reading, Mighty Mr. Mittens, my little kitten, well, he's not a kitten, he's 5 years old, he came to join me, and he's fallen asleep in the chair next to me, and he suffers from epileptic seizures if he's exposed to strong smells. So unfortunately, I can't risk that. But when I was smudging the earth and the air piles, the smoke did waft over your cards and the water pile to follow. So I'm sure that this reading will be just as interesting. So let us move the fire to the side. Can you still see that? Yes. And here's your beautiful fire opal. And let's look, we'll start with your tarot cards. So the first tarot card is in the position, what is the source of my feeling powerless? And that is the Justice card. The second position is, what am I seeing in others that I cannot see in myself? And that is the Ten of Cups. Beautiful, one of the nicest cards in the deck. The third card is, what part of my personal power can I reclaim? Oh, another lovely card, Queen of Pentacles. And the fourth card is, what feelings will I experience as I reclaim my power? And this is the Two of Cups. Nice cards. And the final tarot card is, what would I gain by reclaiming my power? And that is the Wheel of Fortune. So that's some interesting cards there. You start with a Major Arcana and you end with a Major Arcana. The Opal was the same. Very interesting. And of course, for all the piles, the question is, how do I reclaim my personal power? So this is big stuff because there's a lot of Major Arcana cards coming up. Anyway, let's look at your Oracle cards. The Oracle of the Seven Energies. The Land Between. Very nice. Let's think about that. And the archetype that will be playing out on this journey for you to reclaim your power is Goddess. Lovely. And remember, whether you're a gentleman or a lady reading this, we all have Goddess energy within us. It's not gender specific. And what spirit animal is helping us on our journey, bringing us some wisdom from Mother Nature? It's the beautiful gazelle. And I must say, living in South Africa, when I go to the bush, my favorite animal, everybody rushes to see the lions and the predators. But I have to say my favorite animal is the gentle, beautiful impala, which is an antelope or a gazelle. And the final card is the the wisdom of the ancient realms. And for you, the final message comes from the Horse King. So we will look into that in the next few moments. So, Fire Power, interesting that you've got cups and earth. Cups is water, earth, pentacles is earth, and yet you are a fire sign. So, the source of your feeling powerless. I'm getting perhaps that this, the Justice card is all about fairness, it's all about rightness, it's all about things being equitable, that there's consequences for actions, sort of like if you're good, you get rewarded, if you're bad, you get punished. But this is in the position that this is the source of your feeling powerless. So I get the feeling that perhaps there's something that you are feeling or experiencing as unfair. Perhaps you see life in general as unfair. Perhaps you feel that something has happened to you that's unfair. Just an example, it could be anything. I mean, everybody's different. Perhaps somebody got a job, a promotion that you worked hard at. Perhaps you've dedicated your life to your family and they've all gone away, they've moved away. There's something in your life at the moment that you feel is very unfair, and this is making you feel powerless because you feel that there's no way to change it, there's no way to bring back a sense of fairness. So we also need to think and remember that this Justice card is not about man-made laws. So it's not about a sense of what we think is right. This is more about the laws of the universe. It is about finding a balance between a subjective view and an objective view. So perhaps this card is suggesting that on our journey back to reclaiming our power, perhaps we need to re-look at what we think is unfair. Is it just, we all know that sometimes bad things happen to good people and sometimes good things happen to bad people. And we don't know, perhaps in some past life, there was some imbalance that is being corrected. It doesn't make it right. It's not a condoning of bad acts, and it's not a condoning of the fact that a person does everything right and they still don't get rewarded. But it's more about coming into, I think this card suggests that if you want to reclaim your power, you need to change your perception on how you see fairness versus unfairness. And sometimes we just have to deal with the hand that we've been given. I'm not saying it makes it easy, it doesn't, but that's all part of the journey of evolving back towards a state of having our personal power, or moving into a sense of having our personal power. But let's see what the other cards say. So the underlying energy, the source of this feeling of powerlessness, is some sense of unfairness, of something that is not equitable, of something that is not right. And the second card is, what do you see, what do I see in other people that I cannot see in myself? And this is the card, the 10 of Cups is the ultimate card of material and emotional happiness. You can see the bluebirds, you can see this perfectly happy family, a modest, not an excessive house in the background, surrounded by a loving wife and children, the bluebirds, the little robins, living on a cloud of happiness with a rainbow as their window frame. And this is a card of happiness, it's a card of fulfillment, it's a card of completion, sort of like all the goals and everything that you've worked for has been achieved. It's about success, it's about being whole, it's having plenty, it's being content. In effect, this card is a card almost of having it all. And perhaps stemming out of your sense of unfairness, you look at others and you think that they have it all. But perhaps you need to look inward and understand that maybe they do have it all from your perception, but we all have our own struggles. We don't know what sort of goes on behind closed doors. And I'm not saying that when you look at somebody else who looks like they've got it all together, that it's not the case. But we don't know the journey that they've gone on towards stepping into their power that allows them to achieve the sense of contentment and wholeness. And part of your journey is looking inward and saying, I too can reach that state where I am feeling whole and complete and successful, as if I have received everything. Because it's all about rooting out what the sense of unfairness is and how it's affecting your life. And what we need to do on this journey of reclaiming our power is we need to look at what part of myself can I reclaim? What part of my personal power can I reclaim? And this is the Queen of Pentacles. This is a card of abundance, but practical abundance. You know, she's not dreamy like the Queen of Cups. She's a practical card that achieves abundance through hard things, through hard sort of material, because this is a card of the material world. It would be there would have been hard work, and it's not necessarily physical hard work. It could have been hard work with emotional challenges that have had to be overcome. It is an appreciation of good things, having experienced the depths of the darkest night of the soul. this Queen of Pentacles has come into a state of balance, of steadfastness. She's at harmony with the cycles of life, and she understands that you can see there's two snakes and there's two bunnies, and they seem to be quite opposite to the idea of an abundant universe, well, especially the snakes. If you have been brought up in some of the traditions that see snakes as evil. But this Queen of Pentacles is saying to you that what you need to reclaim, so that what you need to find in yourself again, is the sense of no matter what hard times have been behind you, no matter what challenges, no matter what you feel is unfair and unjust and not right or inequitable, is sometimes the cycles of life. We have drought, we have floods, we have years of barrenness, and we have years of great fertility. And you think of the dream of Joseph with the Pharaoh, 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of drought. And the Queen of Pentacles has come into a realization that in the moments of plenty, she enjoys it, but she understands that and there is the Wheel of Fortune here, that life goes up and life goes down, and it's just a case of staying centered and balanced and steadfast. And once you can reclaim that idea that we have enough, whatever the external circumstances, perhaps this feeling, you see, this abundance, I'm thinking now of that image of two prisoners inside a cell looking out through the bars, and they're both painting, and the one prisoner, you look at his canvas and he's painted bars, and you look at the other prisoner and he's painted what he saw beyond the bars. He's painted the sky with a bird and a tree. And I think that's what this card is saying. Yes, the situation that you have just been through may have been terribly unfair, terribly unjust, and it may look as if everybody else has got everything they want, and you are suffering. You have been subjected to something that's very unfair, whatever it is, whether it's a loss of a job or loss of a promotion, a loss of a relationship, whatever. But it's all about understanding that sometimes things are up, sometimes things are down, and being satisfied with what you have, the sense of abundance within that can see you through the hard times. And we move on from that step of the journey to the next step, which is, what feelings will I experience as I move towards reclaiming my personal power? And this is the lovely Two of Cups. It is a card of healing, especially of relationships, and not necessarily a man and a woman, but any kind of relationship, platonic, family, romantic, business, whatever situation this injustice occurred in. This card suggests that part of what you will be feeling as you work back towards reclaiming your power, this card suggests that it's going to be a healing journey, that there's going to be a sense of inner harmony, a sense of making inclusive choices or being included in choices rather than exclusive decisions where you feel excluded or you make decisions that exclude others. And part of that is it will have like a unifying effect. It will unify opposing emotions and transform your feelings into a greater sense of being whole and healed and abundant and having it all. So there is definitely healing that needs to take place, healing of this wound, of whatever it has that has created this sense of unfairness. But it is there, the opportunity is there to find that healing within, so that you can remember that part of you that knows that there are these cycles of life where sometimes something is more abundant than others, and be able to accept that with a steadfastness, an honest, an openness, and a feeling of calm acceptance that the wheel will turn. And this is the final card on this journey, and it shows what would I gain by reclaiming my personal power. And I think this whole journey, right from justice through to the Lovers, now ending with the Wheel of Fortune, is learning, or perhaps not so much learning, because obviously the lesson has already occurred in this inequitable event that created this chasm within. It's about accepting the inevitability of change. It's a card that promises the end of inner troubles, because of course the Wheel of Fortune is the right way round. You can see the joyous side, the little, not dice, the little ball has landed on the side of joy rather than the side of sadness. And this suggests that as you move through this healing journey, there's the inner troubles and perhaps outer troubles too will be ending. And it's about keeping a sense of balance and keeping a sense of equity, and realizing that sometimes the Wheel of Fortune is up and sometimes the Wheel of Fortune is down. It kind of reminds me of when you're watching a tennis match, and sometimes the tennis player for the match point will hit the ball and it will land on the net. And for some players it falls on the right side and the player gets the point and wins the match. And for other tennis players, the ball falls back into his own side of the court and he loses the match. And that's just the way that the wheel turns. The next match he'll win. Who knows? And this whole healing journey for you, Fire Pal, is about coming into this acceptance and healing within, and just realizing that the wheel turns, it goes up, it goes down. And the most important thing is to keep your center and to keep hold of the steadfastness of the Queen of Pentacles, which somehow has been lost, but you will reclaim that beautiful sense of abundance, of being steadfast, and of having enough to see you through both the hard times and the good times. So let's see what messages the oracles bring to you. The Oracle of the Seven Energies is about the land between. And I think that actually follows on very nicely from the Wheel of Fortune, about going up and about going down. And this card is about being between worlds. It's about learning to be okay with what was, what will be, what can be, what could be. It's about navigating your way through a time of waiting or a time of evolution, or literally living in this constant turning wheel where sometimes it lands at the bottom and sometimes it lands at the top. And this oracle card is coming to say, learn to be okay with whatever phase you are in. And it's not as easy as it sounds, because living with uncertainty can be quite challenging. But the goddess archetype, which applies whether you're a male or a female energy listening to this reading, the goddess embodies wisdom, She embodies grace. She's all about overcoming extreme focus on the self. So this is not a goddess like a celebrity, where all the attention is on the self. This is a goddess who sits quietly, more like the Queen of Pentacles. She just goes about doing what has to get done. She knows her worth. She knows her abilities. She knows her strength. And she applies a calm, gracious, divine wisdom to all her actions while she is waiting in the land between. So the goddess archetype is here to help you move from this feeling of inequity and injustice to a calm acceptance of that's just the way the cookie crumbles, reclaiming your sense of knowing that the abundance will come back, of a great healing, and accepting that you too have the capacity to have it all. It just depends on what your perception of having it all is. And what spirit animal is here to help you on this journey? The cheerful, gracious, joyous little gazelle. And of course, the gazelles of all the antelopes and many of the other animals, the gazelle has a supreme gracefulness of movement. They can live in the beauty of the present moment. They can bounce around full of happiness and joy, not worrying whether there's a predator waiting behind the bush. They just leap with graceful joy through the air and land on those delicate feet and just enjoy. And that, I think, is the message that the gazelle is bringing you, that even through this tough time of the sense of feeling that life isn't fair, you can, with the wisdom and grace brought in by the goddess, you can learn to leap through the air like a gazelle, filled with joy, and enjoy the present moment and not worry about what was and not worry about what will be. And the final message is the wisdom from the ancient realms. This is the Horse King, which has come to offer aid. And the Horse King brings with him the message of letting go control, of being able to ask for help, to be open to those who are sent to help you, because you don't have to do it all by yourself. And perhaps that is part of what is creating a feeling of injustice. Perhaps you have been overburdened and you feel that it's unfair that you have to carry the biggest burden. And all you really need to do, the Horse King says, is ask for help. And help will come in many surprising ways. And that firepower is your reading. It is sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings and I wish you so much love. And I look forward to having you join us in the next reading. Hello, Waterpile, and welcome to your reading. As I mentioned to Firepower, I'm unable to smudge the cards directly because I've been joined by my cat, Mighty Mr. Mittens, who unfortunately suffers epileptic seizures when he's exposed to strong smells. So he's sleeping so peacefully on the chair that I'm not going to risk smudging these cards. But when I did smudge the earth and the air piles, both the fire and the water piles were smudged. So let us begin your reading. That is your beautiful crystal of Chrysocolla, which I will move to the side. And of course you are the water pile. So today we are looking at how can I reclaim my personal power. We've got 5 tarot cards and 4 oracle cards. So let's have a look. The first tarot card is, what is the source of my feeling powerless? And that is the Knight of Cups. Cups is emotions, knights. I wonder if that is a relationship. Anyway, let's look at the other cards and then we will see what they all bring together. The second card is, what am I seeing in others that I can't see in myself? The Magician. Okay, the Magician. Okay, all right. Okay, I think I'm getting an idea there. Well, let's have a look. The third card is, what part of my personal power can I reclaim? And that is the wonderful, fiery Knight of Wands. And the fourth card is, what feelings will I experience on this journey towards reclaiming my power? Okay, that's quite a lot of sorrow here. That is the Five of Cups. And the final tarot card, the end of this journey, so to speak, on reclaiming our power, is, what would I stand to gain by reclaiming my power? And that is the Moon. Okay. I think the Magician and the Moon, both major arcana, but both more intuitive. Cups is not only emotion, it's also intuition. Anyway, let's have a look at your oracle cards and then we will bring all the cards together. So, the first oracle of the 7 energies brings the message, a burst of magic. A burst of magic. Yeah, those 3 cards, I don't think that's so much about relationship. Cups is also about intuition and psychic. People with a lot of cups, people with a lot of water, Pisces, they tend to be very intuitive. The Magician is magic, a burst of magic. The Moon is all about intuition and psychic abilities. Okay, the archetype that is playing out on this journey of reclaiming your personal power is the Healer. Okay. All right. And the spirit animal that accompanies us on this journey is the beautiful, magical nightingale. And the final message of the oracle cards is from the wisdom of the ancient realms, and that is the web weaver. So, water power, that's interesting because this is the water power, and cups, as I just said, cups represent water and emotions, which is why my first feeling was that the feeling of powerlessness, the source of your powerlessness, comes perhaps from a broken relationship. But I think with these 3 cards and with this card and actually all of the oracle cards and these 2 cards, I think it's more cups stroke water from the point of view of psychic development. Because Pisces, of course, the sign of water. Cancer, Scorpio, they're all highly intuitive people. And this source of feeling powerlessness is perhaps, I don't think it's about a relationship. I think it's got something to do with intuition. The Knight of Cups, it can be a romance. It can simply be having a romantic spirit. Perhaps that's been crushed. Perhaps there was a relationship that crushed you. But I think more likely there's some kind of dilemma or struggle here with developing your psychic gifts, with developing your intuition. It is making you feel powerless. Perhaps you feel that you don't have the power, yet you're drawn to something like that. This Knight of Cups can bring in a new understanding of both emotions and of psychic abilities. Something new, some information may emerge, perhaps because this is in the position of what is the source of feeling powerless. So perhaps you don't have enough information on how to develop your psychic abilities. Perhaps some new information has arisen about a romantic relationship that has made you feel powerless. But I do think with all of these cards, it's more to do with psychic development. So perhaps you feel that you're not as strong as that your psychic abilities are not strong enough for you to become a healer. Perhaps you feel that they're not developed enough, and that makes you feel powerless. Or perhaps you used your intuition in some way and it turned out badly, and that has destroyed your confidence in your psychic gifts. It's destroyed your confidence in your intuition, and that has left you feeling powerless. And when you look at others, you see the magician. You see the ability to be discerning in how they use their psychic gifts. You see the ability to shape their future just through their magic, if I can use that word. You see others as having the ability to ground their ideas into reality, or perhaps to have you see others as having the ability to bring the psychic flashes down from the divine and translate them into a language that your clients or your patients or your listeners can interpret and understand. So what you see in others is the fact that they have the magic, they have the psychic abilities, but you cannot see that within yourself. And perhaps this journey to reclaiming your power requires you to recognize that you yourself have the ability to develop your psychic talents and become a magician. And what you need to reclaim on this journey towards your personal power is you need to reclaim your fiery, passionate core. The Knight of Wands is all about new directions. The Wands always forge new directions. It's related to fire. They burn their own path. This is not about following others. This is not about imitating others. This is about learning. It's about looking at what others do, but finding your own psychic gift, finding your own way of expressing and properly using those gifts that, instead of them making you feel powerless, they will bring a sense of excitement, a sense of knowing your own mastery and power. The Knight of Wands can perhaps be a little bit impulsive and fiery, and perhaps that's what created a problem here, that you rushed into it, perhaps without the proper training and development, and something bad happened, and that made you feel that you don't have the gift, that you don't have the power. But these cards are telling me that there definitely is that capacity within you, but you need to find your own path of how to use and develop your psychic gifts. It's also about learning to live within your own natural rhythm, to do what feels right to you. And also, most importantly for the Knight of Wands, which is quite an impulsive and sometimes reckless energy, it's about learning to balance, to bridge the dichotomy between expanding your psychic abilities and having a need for control, so that the Knight of Wands doesn't go rushing off recklessly and create a situation where you feel powerless instead of, I hesitate to use the powerful, because this is not about having power over others. It's about developing your gifts to their fullest potential. So it's about having power over your own gifts and using them to help others in an act of service. And what are you going to feel along this journey of reclaiming your own power? This is a very sad card. It's a card of loss. It's a card of woundedness. It's about taking time to grieve losses, but importantly, not staying stuck in those losses, because this figure has wrapped itself in. So yes, perhaps whatever the source of your feeling powerless as far as your psychic development goes, whatever the source of that pain and sorrow is, don't concentrate on that. There are other gifts there waiting to be developed, waiting to be seen, the cups are waiting to be sipped from. And this is about developing an ability to deal with loss in a way that doesn't keep you frozen and stuck, and having the strength to turn away. Yes, you will feel the sorrow, and so you should. You will feel the grief and the sense of loss, and so you should. But always remember that if you turn around, there is something new waiting to be sipped and waiting to be tasted. And this journey from the source of feeling powerless, through looking at what you see in others but you don't recognize in yourself, to how you can reclaim your power, to what you will be feeling along this journey. And that brings us to the situation of what we will gain when we reclaim our power around our psychic developments. And that is the Moon, a major arcana card. It is a powerful card. It is a card of intuition. The Moon, of course, rules our emotions. It is an extremely psychic card. And this is all about what we will gain is we will have the ability to face and deal with those opposing forces within us, light and dark, fear and strength, feminine and masculine, yin and yang. And what this journey will also help us do, it will help us learn to balance the unconscious with the conscious, so that we can achieve an inner integration. Because we cannot help others unless we ourselves are fully integrated. So the message of the Oracle of the Seven Energies is a burst of magic. And this is a moment of epiphany. This is a sudden higher knowing. This burst of magic brings with it a sense that everything has a meaning. It's about, you can see there, it's about rising out of the depths through the beautiful lotus and finally connecting with a higher power. And it's about receiving, you can see the stars coming in. It's about receiving the gift of purpose. It is about answering the call of what lights us up. And of course, it's very interesting that in this reading towards reclaiming our personal power, it's about the psychic gifts that we have perhaps put aside and not developed. And you can see those stars, that cluster of stars is all around the crown chakra and the third eye chakra, which of course is how we connect to the divine and how we learn to use our intuition. So this Oracle of the Seven Energies is bringing with it a burst of magic, reminding us that we do need to answer the call and allow magic into our lives. And it will be a sudden moment of epiphany that will open new doors to us and a sense of our own abilities. And the archetype that we will be discovering and working with is the archetype of the healer. And this is about having the inherent strength and an ability to help people transform their pain and sorrow into a healing process. Because if we've walked this path of healing our own sense of powerlessness, if we've worked through our own shadows and learned how to balance the opposing aspect within us, we can then show others the path. We can become a path leader. And this is about wanting to serve others, to heal body, mind, and spirit. It's about making sure that we heal ourselves and that we care for ourselves so that we have enough of the right stuff to give to others, the right energy to give to others. Because, of course, there is that old saying, healer, heal thyself. And that, I think, is an important part of this journey, that we need to heal our own wounds, and we need to understand how we can turn away from our sadness and our sorrow and our loss, and we need to integrate those opposing forces within us so that we can have the epiphanies, the flashes of intuition that help us heal or show the way for others to heal themselves, because we cannot heal somebody else. We can only show them how to heal themselves. And the spirit animal that is accompanying us on this journey is that tiny little brown bird that is almost invisible, and yet it has this fearless, divine sounding voice. It has the otherworldly song that it sings loudly and fearlessly, and it helps heal the deepest wounds. It is a song that speaks with kindness and with beauty, and it makes the world, even though it is small and brown and invisible, it makes the world a better place every time it opens its mouth and sings its song. And that, I think, is the message that Nightingale is bringing, is that this journey towards reclaiming the power of our psychic gifts is not about being visible. It is about using that magic to heal others with kindness and with beauty, and to restore others to a sense of the grace in the world. And the final message comes from the wisdom of the ancient realms. It is the web weaver, which is about experiencing synchronicities in our life. It's about having a divine intelligence, about knowing, a deep inner knowing, and of course understanding the cause and effect of our actions and our choices. And the web weaver, I think she rejoices in our far-reaching words and the deeds that we do, which can have such a positive effect on others. And it is the web weaver who, through the method of synchronicity, will grant the way to others of like mind and spirit, so that we can know that we are not alone on this journey, that we are not alone on our endeavors. And that, water power, is your final message. It is your reading sent from my heart to yours. I wish you blessings. I wish you so much love. And I look forward to having you join us in the next reading.